Hi, we're here today with Bill Hargenrader. How you doing today?
Doing good, Heidi. Thanks for having me.
So, I understand you're the owner of the I Love Mars Facebook page. How did you get into Mars?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's the I Love Mars Facebook page. It's we're a site for science, sci-fi, news, humor, things of that nature. And you're one of the newest members of the team where you're posting your interviews. We've got Ron Sparkman and Matt Austin and Myra. A fun team. But basically, we got started like a lot of people out there who just know that we should go to Mars, whether they feel it's a manifest destiny or it's in their DNA or whatever reason it is. And there's just so many people that are out there doing. You got the Mars Society, the Mars Foundation, Mars Generation, and we're all trying to do the same thing. So I Love Mars is like, hey, let's be a focusing lens. Let's basically try and bring all the different people together and put us in one direction. Because if everybody tries to do kind of like their own thing, then you won't get as much done. And it's kind of like a magnifying glass where you get the sunlight coming down, you put a magnifying glass, you can focus all of those rays, you can start a fire. So that's what I Love Mars is all about.
Awesome. And I also I understand you also wrote a science fiction book called Mars Journey.
Yeah, Mars Journey Call to Action. It's a bestseller on Amazon. It's not quite The Martian, but enough people are buying and liking it, and that basically came from for the longest time now. I've been into motivational speaking, and I've been into motivation for individuals and how we can improve our lives. And the whole thing about Mars is motivation to me. It motivates people. It's the next level of progress. And so basically what I did is I took a lot of the different technologies and the policies and the laws and the regulations and all these different things on a global scale. And what would it take to get us to Mars? And I started writing a nonfiction book about that. But there's so many great books out there, with Dr. Robert Zubrin and Andrew Rader and all these. So I said, let's take all of that and put it into a fable, where basically it's going to be a long journey for us to get from Earth, to basically collaborate. I'm big into collaboration, international collaboration. Collaborate, to get off the ground and to get to Mars. So it's basically, if you read this, it's a fun action, thriller, but you really you can learn a lot about what it's going to take for us to get there.
Awesome. So, have you written any other books besides Mars Journey?
Mars Journey is my first foray into fiction. My wife actually, she just finished publishing a book called Unleash Your Inner Diabetes Dominator, and even though that's her book, we call each other collaborators, because if you're writing a book with a loved one, you're pretty much both in it. So she's been writing that book for 4 years. That just came out, and basically it touches into this whole motivation again. Like, what are the things you need to transform your life, take you to the next level, and especially written for people with type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, about your mindset and mindfulness and nutrition and all those things. But what's interesting is a lot of those different factors that you take into consideration for managing diabetes is also ones you take in for consideration for just being a normally healthy individual, and take it to the next step. When you really focus on them, if you're on a spaceship to Mars in a tight capsule, or at least in tight quarters, when you get there, you need to focus on your nutrition, you need to focus on your health, you need to focus on your mindset, you have to be mindful, like through meditation. So it's like there's a lot of different ways that the book that she wrote, and they call the 6 pillars of total health, apply to Mars. And so when I'm actually writing out my stories of how we get to Mars, I take those considerations into account.
Awesome. So, yeah. So you're into public speaking, and you're also a project management professional. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, sure. So we'll start with the public speaking, and so basically for me, it kind of started with my personal story where I came from, and you know a little bit about this. But when I was 8 years old, I was through basically a very tragic, unfortunate set of circumstances. I was sent to a mental institution for 3 years for a crime that I didn't commit. And basically for me to get out of that situation, and for me to help be with my family and heal, and then eventually the truth came out, and eventually through love and forgiveness and never giving up, that's a lot of what my motivational talking is about. But it's basically, we have in ourselves you know, the ability to take our lives to the next level. And when we help other people take their life to the next level, then you grow more from that. So that's the background for why my drive is to be a motivational speaker. And it's interesting because I'm a project management professional, but my focus area is on cybersecurity. And I think when I trace back to when I was in the mental institution, I had a complete lack of security where nobody believed me. And, you know, I couldn't do my own thing. And almost the exact opposite is now I want to help other people, you know, be more secure in their identity, secure in their finances, you know, physical security. There's so many different parameters, but project management by trade is something that I'm into because you can use that for everything. So I have my storyboard for the Mars Journey, book 1, for instance. I brought this out, but this is a storyboard. This is basically, you know, the title, Act 1, Act 2, and then at the bottom is Act 3. So you can break a story down into a project and manage those projects. Because if you start off where you're trying to do everything at once, you can get really bogged down in the details. Another one that I really love is the integrated space plan. And basically, if you're watching, we'll get a link, but the integrated space plan is something that was done in I believe the 80s. And if you can see it here, each one of these boxes on this 4-foot tall poster is a critical item. Like, how do we become a space-faring civilization? How do we get to Mars? What are the things that we need to do? What are the technologies? And if you plan out what the individual technologies are, instead of building this whole map, focus on that one piece that's in front of you. And if you focus on that one piece that's in front of you, then suddenly things become more manageable and more reasonable. And you know, I know that, you know, you and I we're both fans of Mars One and things of that nature. And I know that some people are, you know, some people get upset that, you know, hey, they don't think that we're going to be able to get there, that Mars One is, you know, has the money to do that. And I think that they do have the possibility and the chance, but I think they needed to start off with that vision. I think they help the world wake up and say, hey, it's something that we need to do. And without that grand vision, without saying, here's what we want to accomplish, there's not a very good chance of that's happening. So I think that for Mars One, that's a project. They said, here's what we want to be. Here are the steps to make it happen. And now it's up to us to not say, you know, that it's, you know, that it can't happen. It's to say, how can we help, or what can we do to make sure that it does happen?
Awesome. I think the challenge with Mars One is limited budgets. If you were managing a project like Mars One, what would you do different?
I wouldn't necessarily do anything different because I don't know their business plan, but I do know that I think that one of the aims that they had where they cut down the original applicants for the project. They cut it down to, you know, is that 100 now? Something?
I think about 100, I'd say.
Yeah, for so many. So I think that when you run a project like Mars One, there's many different parallel activities. And I don't want to, you know, armchair quarterback it, but I think when they cut down from so many to so few without the other parallel activities being in place, if you were like number 400 and now all of a sudden you're out, you've kind of lost your interest. So I think that there was a way to maintain the drive and the passion of a larger group, because we might get down to the top, you know, however many, like 20 or so, and we're still too many years out. You know, it would have been great if there was a way to keep the people that were the most excited, the most passionate, the ones that went and signed up right away to keep them intrigued. So I know you've interviewed a lot of different Mars One hopefuls. What are your thoughts on like how they view the whole process?
Well, yeah, it's like some are still excited about it, and some are like meh. Yeah.
But I definitely think it's that they're on the right track. Hopefully we can course correct. See what we can do.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add there? Anything I forgot?
Yeah, no, this has been great. I would just say that I think that, you know, for us going to Mars and why we have a, you know, Mars Journey, you know, book and The Martian that came out that really just invigorated a lot of people and got people excited about going to Mars. And, you know, there's so many people out there that want to make it happen that right now there's not a large vocal majority of people that, you know, want us to go to Mars. And I think part of that is me personally, I'm not allowed to go to Mars, so my wife won't let me go. But I want us to get there as a species. There are people that want to go as individuals, and there are people that just love the science behind it. There are people that just love the challenge. And I think that in a collaborative, fashion, a collaborative way, if we can just all come together and focus our intention in the right direction, because you don't need to be, what'll happen unfortunately sometimes is like, I want to go to Mars, and it's like, if you don't support my view, then, I don't want to talk to you, or I want to do this, and if you don't support this method, then we all have to find a way to come together, and that's one of the things. It's easy enough to say we had to find a way, but with I Love Mars, and that page and that community, I've also started a group that I Love Mars is kind of the front, and the group is called Mars Now, and it stands for Neo Pioneers Organized Worldwide, and it's basically is designed to help people that have an interest, an active interest, at whatever level you are, help give them ways where they can participate in getting us to Mars as a species. So that's the big thing we're working on next, is Mars Now.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Yeah, this was great. This is really fun.
Yes.